Hello and welcome to Snack Time.
Welcome to Snack Time, everybody.
Welcome to snack time.
So,
Thank you, Henry.
yeah,
Thank you, Andrew. And thank you, Graham, for allowing me to join in what is surely to be an excellent snack time.
I certainly hope so. So, on this episode, we are playing. Well, I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna say we're playing clearly the best game of the week, and everyone agrees with me. But as it turns out, everyone agrees with me. The best release
no
of this
joking
week is Valkyria Chronicles being released on Steam.
Yeah.
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 Better late than never, I guess. Eh?
Okay, so before we continue, I just want to say something about this because it has been ported to Steam, but it is very clearly still a PS3 game. Because, look at this save screen. It is a PS3 save screen with big 360 buttons on it.
Yeah, see that.
Anyway, I just wanted to say something about that because it's funny.
I think it's hilarious. I saw a screenshot of that earlier in the week. I was like, oh, that's great. Why not?
Yeah. So I have gotten past the sort of prologue stuff just to get us to the actual first chapter, to get us into some gameplay. But yeah,
Look how good that book looks.
it's
It's all coming back to me.
pretty great.
I'll explain the mission.
Awesome.
So
Henry really. You know what? It's safe to say we all really like this game.
it's
This
really
is pretty
good.
much, this is pretty much the first snack time where we can all say that we absolutely love this game.
No.
we played Mario
Maybe
Kart.
Mario Kart, maybe.
and Soccer Wars.
Soccer Wars is
I've
real
never
good.
played
I don't-
Soccer Wars.
you know what?
guys.
You-
but
you-
the both of you love that so much that may cover my non-existent.
I'll say this,
It
Henry.
does.
I feel like we've talked about this before. There are
Talk
some
about what?
of the same people involved in the development of Soccer Wars in this game.
Yes, I believe you have mentioned that.
Yeah. So that's not an accident.
Coincidence?
It's a great Sega strategy game. But yeah. So it's actually like,
Okay, let's begin. It's up to us to defend Brule.
It is. It's up to us to defend Brule.
I don't
So
know. I don't know if I'm up for this.
yeah. So weird save screen aside, this is actually
Our
like a
target is the Imperials
pretty
in Mill
solid
Plaza.
port.
Focus on taking down their captain.
It supports a lot of resolutions and
Breaking
a
the
lot of
chain of
things right
command
now.
should at least buy some time for the townspeople to get away.
It's pretty cool. They didn't re-render any of the
All
videos
right, I
or
got
anything,
it.
but the
Let's all be
gameplay
careful
itself,
out there.
which is where you are for most of the game.
Got a second?
Okay, I can skip all these entry things, but rest assured, if you haven't
Just-
played Valkyria Chronicles before, you should probably pay attention to that stuff. But yeah,
It's nice to see because we've seen ports, particularly RPG ports to the PC that haven't been entirely smooth. But from what I've read and heard, the transition for here was pretty great.
yeah. Let me get the volume down just a little, so we can so you can hear us talking. Okay.
So
But yeah.
tech-wise, this game performs well on PC, and
It does. There's a whole there's a configure thing you can go into and just choose whatever you want, but it goes up to pretty much whatever resolutions your system can handle. It forces widescreen, but it forced widescreen on PS3, so that's to be expected. All right. I'm gonna start playing some Valkyria Chronicles.
let's do it.
I'm super
it.
psyched. Okay.
Moving out.
So, for those who know nothing about Valkyria Chronicles and thus their lives are lesser as a result, tell us what is Valkyria Chronicles?
Oh no.
I'm sorry, I have to make you do this.
No, sorry. It triggered a tutorial right as I was about to crouch, and I was like, "Oh no,
Oh,
I'm gonna
no.
get shot." But Valkyria Chronicles is, besides being the greatest, and you should buy it. It is a real-time / turn-based strategy game. It is turn-based in that you pick a unit and move it, but then when you do, it moves in real time, and you have to, avoid shots and sneak around, and you have a certain amount of movement and things like that. But it allows for sort of more granular tactical positions than something like Fire Emblem. but it is similar in that there are, Japanese style characters with some serious strategy and maps to go across, eliminate enemies, things like that.
Right.
If you like the sort of positioning stuff from a game like XCOM, this is basically the Japanese take on that, I think, would be the way I'd put it.
So where are the aliens?
That's in 2. We don't talk about it.
Okay.
Oh my god! I
Oh,
haven't
no.
beat you yet. I know.
Uh-oh.
It's okay, Graham. I'll forgive you for spoiling. What's the setting, Graham? Because this game has an incredibly unique setting in that it's based in real. Not really, but
it is
it's
based in.
What's the setting?
like,
What's the setting?
Fantasy World War II.
Yeah.
The best kind of World War II.
It's
Here we go.
It's kind of an allegory, I guess, for World War II. There's people that are basically discriminated against. There's
The Darksons.
there's this kind of super weapon sort of thing going on. That's more of a focus into, which again
Yes!
we don't talk about.
Right.
But
But you keep talking about it. Just
I
stop it.
know.
Bringing
yeah,
it
so
up,
it's,
Graham.
It's basically World War II, and it's kind of great. You guys have both played it, so how about I try to play a little more competently for a second, and you guys say something about it.
Sure. So I guess adding on to that, one of the great appeals of this game is you got this war I've talked about before. It horrible in real life, but as Andrew said, the fantasy type is the best type. So war leads to a lot of great storytelling options, right? And in Valkyria Chronicles, you get a lot of twists and turns. But I found what was really different between this and other tactical games was that I got a real kinship with the characters. They focus sort of on maybe 4 or 5 ones that sort of form the core group, and rarely been pulled in by the type of sort of camaraderie and challenges they face, and personal demons and desires and things like that. And what I find helps it is the sort of the storybook, comic booky presentation, where each panel is good job, Graham.
Thank you.
Is a specific cutscene or a specific battle. So if you want to go back and relive one of the cutscenes, or maybe you missed one and you want to unlock it, it's really easy to do that. I find that's pretty tricky to do is in a tactical RPG where normally you have so many characters that you don't really feel attached to them.
Right.
But in this one, I mean, the focus, the voice acting and the cutscene direction is
and they
is so
managed to do
top-notch
it
in
while
this.
having a larger cast too.
They did.
Like, they don't sacrifice
They
it
did. I mean, you do
by
have
being
an
like,
army.
here are your 4 characters.
That's right.
So
That's
that
right. No,
part's
they
cool.
just tremendous job, and I think
Moving
one of
out.
the reasons it flew under the radar, Andrew, you can maybe correct me if I'm wrong. One of the reasons it flew under the radar so much is that it came out very early on in the PS3 life cycle. I believe 2007 or 8, and maybe just people didn't have a PS3. It didn't have trophies.
Bam. Yeah. By the way, this
maybe
game has
just-
achievements now.
I know. That was one of the
Sweet.
reasons I want to get it again. But yeah, I certainly underrated, underplayed.
Enemy unit
Maybe
spotted.
not underrated, because most reviews have this game rated very positively, but certainly underplayed. And I think
Yeah.
it was just bad timing. Had this come out after XCOM, it probably would have gotten a much bigger response.
Ready to go.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's helpful that it's apparently already doing really well on Steam for Sega.
I heard that. Yeah, very
Yeah.
exciting.
So I mean,
I would be interested to know if it has sold better on Steam already than it did on PS3. I would
don't know.
not be surprised.
yeah, I mean, maybe in a week from now. I don't know if 2 days, but yeah, probably inevitably in a short period of time going to sell way better than the
Like, I
PS3.
bet it probably made more money on PS3 just because, again, the margins for a $60 game are probably better.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah,
again,
I think-
this is no extra
Hostile
cost.
sighted.
So
Yeah. And I think this is just one of those games. Like, I feel like a lot of Japanese games that come to Steam do really well because
yeah,
there is a market for that game on these games on PC, and there really isn't that much like it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
again, you can bring up XCOM, but I feel like this game is different enough from XCOM.
no, it
that-
is. And,
that you
and I
can't
think
really-
the interesting thing is, like, I think there was a hesitance for a long time to do anything because the games that were coming out were games like Last Remnant or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
God.
well, no, this isn't
Don't get me
actually
started
very
on
good.
Last Remnant. Yeah, they're like, aha, see, people don't like RPGs on PC. It's like, no, that's not what it means. But yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
persuade them otherwise. So will this mean going forward that we'll see more RPGs on Steam and on PC?
I think this is an example of previous
Seeing more.
successes, meaning, yeah, we are seeing more.
Right. Awesome. Well,
I know
I'm
there
fine with
has
that.
been a large fan campaign to get this and other Sega games on Steam. I'm glad
Right.
that this is the first one because, again, this is the best game the company's ever made by far. Well, Soccer Wars is real good.
I really like this game. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't go that far personally, but
Okay.
it's up there for sure. It's
Okay.
I mean, like in terms of things you thought I mean, like before this game came out or it was even announced, like in terms of things I could see the Sega name attached to, this is like the last thing. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
this seems this.
Like,
I mean, outside
something
of
like
Soccer
Vanquish or
Wars.
something would make a lot more sense on Steam, but I like this
Yeah.
because I think these riskier, smaller things are exactly what should be on Steam and not like, we got third-person action games. Well, no kidding, you got third-person
Yeah.
action games.
again,
sure.
like everyone has a yeah.
And again, I think these kinds of games just they find a new audience on Steam. Like I'm sure there are a lot of people that wanted to play this but never owned a PS3 or just basically only game on Steam
Yeah.
or on PC, and like
And
this
those
is-
people, frankly, like strategy games.
Oh yeah,
So-
for sure.
And
This
there's
is
a need
perfect
for
fit.
Japanese style games, so like, give them this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
tank, and you're
That's a tank.
Yeah,
that's
and
a
I have
tank.
scouts
Yep.
and only scouts. This is early game
Yeah,
stuff.
Not a good mix.
What?
How I
That's
forgot how good the game
I hate-
looks, especially I mean on
Get off this.
looks pretty good on your PC, Graham.
I'm try-
How would you guys describe the graphics? I mean, is it straight up cell shading? But
It's-
it looks different than other
It's
cell
not-
shaded games.
It's cell shaded with a texture filter.
yeah.
You
Okay.
can kind of tell if you look really close at stuff, and you can look really close at it now because you can put it in like 4K. But
Oh man,
I wouldn't recommend that. But 1080p
Yeah.
looks great.
looks fantastic though.
It's,
doesn't it?
it's like they have the cell shading, but yeah, the filter they had makes it look like someone basically lightly shaded it. It's like I don't know, it's remarkable, and something you don't
Here we
really even
go.
today don't really see that often. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, this game is fantastic, and even though I've never played 2, I would like to see maybe this leads to the second game getting a release on a system that
mean-
isn't the PSP.
I mean, what we really want is 3.
3,
right?
yes, of course, but I mean
and-
to get there, I feel like 2
Well,
needs to
What
come
I
next.
want
I'll
is
say this.
4.
It's not sequential. So 3 is a side story.
Yeah.
So it goes on like parallel to the events of the first game.
Mm-hmm.
So you could actually just release 3; it would be fine.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
because-
I feel like Sega. I feel like even though 2 isn't as well
Ready to
regarded
go.
as this game, I feel like it's not bad. It's just
not.
like, and there are probably a ton of people again who, even more so than people who haven't played the first Valkyria Chronicles, never owned a PSP. So I feel like the second game could do really well as well. So I mean, why not do?
I mean,
both?
I'd buy it again.
Looks like we shook him.
Of course you would.
What
'cause
are you
you're
doing from here?
I mean
Well,
that in the
yeah.
best way possible.
Uh,
I didn't mean.
they're
I feel like
rolling in
that
the
sounded
tanks, there's
horrible
not
when I
much-
said it, but no, you're you, and that's great.
I'm gonna skip the story stuff for now because I mean, you should embrace it, and also the sound
Yeah.
settings don't let me turn down the audio and that stuff. So
But yeah, totally Valkyria Chronicles 3. Bring it on. Let's finally get
Chapter
that
2.
game.
Escape
I
from
want
rule.
to play it. Let's maybe someday we'll get
Never
a
know.
number 4.
Oh man, don't get me
Maybe
started.
someday. I don't know. I mean, if we only get 3 in the U.S. and that's it for the series, that would be fine by me. As long as we have all of the games in the
No,
U.S.
no, I'm being greedy. I want 4.
well,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
I think what this opens it up to is like a reminder that there is a market for this.
Yeah, totally.
It's just, and if they're, modern game development, they're developing for quote unquote PC anyway because PS4 and Xbox One are basically PCs. So, like, it's not like back in the day where like they made it for the cell processor and like, we can't port this to anything. Which
Yeah.
I'm kind of I'm super psyched that they managed to get it ported. But I don't know. I could see this paving
Here's
the way
the brief for this op.
when the 4th game comes out, which I'm hoping would happen in Japan anyway. We get it,
Yeah, I like that you
Whereas
say
the sales of
when,
2,
not if.
Yeah, Graham, do you know something we don't?
I don't, but I do know Sega continues to put the characters from 3 in everything that moves. There's a cameo in the new Phantasy Star game. You know, they put them in Project Cross Zone. They're not letting it die.
Right.
There's a really popular mobile phone game in Japan. So, I mean, that's happening. It's card-based.
All
But,
right.
like, they keep releasing stuff for that. So it's not like they're doing nothing. It is weird because, you know, like, the developer of the 3rd game was
If this game-
MediaVision.
The ta-
They had, like, you know, outsourced the development. And MediaVision's been busy doing some mobile stuff. They're the Chaos Rings people. But I don't know if the team that did this first game is intact enough to make a sequel to this first game. But I hope so.
Yeah.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
It's kind of all I got. Okay.
Moving out.
I think. Long story short, I think this is like, in terms of the snack bar games that we
Enemy
recommend.
unit spotted.
Like, this is like in our top 5 for sure. Like if
Yes.
like just no matter who you
Yeah,
are.
collective list.
Yeah,
this
collective
would be in top
list.
5.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like we should do that someday.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Like, let's just like maybe like sometime early next year, let's just like get together and like put together our the ultimate snack bar recommendation list of like 5 to 10 games that
Enemy
like,
sighted.
That you are not playing, but you absolutely should.
Enemy
yes,
sighted.
exactly. Like,
Enemy
the games
sighted.
that just about everyone on snack bar likes or would like at least still want to play and fully gets behind, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like
And if
games
anyone
like
disagrees with us on this one, then we'll just get rid of them.
well, I mean, yeah, then,
Yeah, then they're fired.
then we just show them the door, and then that's
Pretty
it.
sure that's one of the prerequisites of being a snack bar editor. You
Yeah.
must like Valkyria Chronicles.
For sure.
Let's keep the war theme, but let's start talking about some other games.
Okay.
Just because we should,
It's-
because us gushing about how great Valkyria Chronicles is for an hour and a half might be fun.
that's a very short amount of time for us to talk about.
Well, yeah,
Valkyria
I mean,
Chronicles.
you're never really gonna have enough time, are you? Graham, how's the new Call of Duty?
Wait a second. I think. Are you talking about? Did you mean to say Andrew?
I meant Andrew. Did I say Graham?
Yes.
Yeah,
Get you two mixed up. You're both so handsome and talented.
I like
I'm
Kevin
sorry.
Spacey. Is that what we're
Andrew.
talking about?
Yeah, Kevin
I do like
Spacey's
Kevin
great.
Spacey.
Yeah.
If it's Kevin Spacey's character from House of Cards, I'll go out and run and buy it right now.
It's
In the
basically,
meantime,
it's basically that character.
well, then I get it. Andrew, I'm sorry. Andrew, you've been playing the new Call of Duty.
Yes, I have.
How is it?
All right, so it's pretty good. It's like last year's Call of Duty, I played very little of, but it wasn't very good. I mean,
Right.
compared to let's say bad shooters, it was still probably better than a lot of them. But like it was by the standards of the series, it was very, very disappointing. And I guess I feel like the series has been on a bit of a downward slope since Modern Warfare 2, let's say.
Okay.
Which was 2009's Call of Duty game. If you're
Last
keeping track at
one
home,
The last
There's-
one I played, so this
yeah.
is good news.
yeah, oh yeah, that's the last fantastic
Oh,
one.
man. I'm so rusty, you guys.
You're putting yourself in
Don't
quite a
let
position here,
don't
Graham.
let Town Watchman die. He's the hero we all deserve.
Which one though?
Graham,
Oh,
Graham,
man.
if you let Town
Facial hair
Watchman
Town
die,
Watchman?
We're shutting
Yes,
this
facial hair
down.
Town Watchman.
Oh, of course,
Okay.
facial hair Town Watchman.
Yeah.
Babyface Town Watchman can sacrifice himself.
Yeah, who cares about him?
Um,
But yeah, so I
hear
guess
Like
go-
it's in terms of advanced warfare. I mean, they're at least trying to evolve it, right? I mean, they've had sort of the modern warfare thing going on for a long time. This one, there's a lot more movements you can do. Multiplayer, a lot quicker as a result. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess that's the big thing. Like they brought it into the future. I think Black Ops 2 had a little of that, but not to this extent. But yeah, this is future Call of Duty. It's still very much Call of Duty. You will still follow a guy with the words "follow" above his head. You know, my pal Follow.
Oh yeah.
He keeps showing up. He's
Yeah.
a good guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's helpful.
Yeah, really. But I mean, like, and you still, run through some linear shooting gallery corridors and you shoot a bunch of dudes, and it's still Call of Duty. But I mean, the thing about it is the movement, like you said.
Yeah.
The fact that you can You can do a double jump. The fact that you can like kind of like glide to the side and back and forth. I'd say kind of the Titanfall thing. If I'm to compare it to another recent shooter, it's very similar in that regard.
I've heard of Titanfall.
Yeah, that's a game. But yeah, it's very similar, and like that like changes a lot. Like it just feels better. Like it's just a faster game as a result. And typically in Call of Duty, I feel like you're the one-man army, right? But you still are kind of always on the defensive in a lot of cases because there are still like way more guys than people on your team. And generally, the people on your team don't really do that much. They just kind of tell you to shoot more guys, and you do that. And you're the one who does most of the actual shooting. So in this, if like for the first time, I feel like in the series, the majority of the time, I felt like I was on the offensive. Like I was taking the advantage over like all these guys, like being able to kind of jump around and like maneuver around them much faster. Like it still specifically feels like a Call of Duty game. Like the shooting is still, like great. It's still, the weapons are kind of more futuristic takes on what you expect from Call of Duty weapons. There is a laser gun, which is awesome.
Lasers just work and everything. That's fine.
Yep.
Andrew, do you think the decision to sort of make you more mobile, like with jumping and sort of maneuvering in the air, do you think that was in an effort to sort of counter the campers or the camping sort of style that a lot of people adopt?
Oh, like for multiplayer specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I feel like like just jumping into the multiplayer, you can already tell that people are approaching this differently. Like again,
right.
It's still kind of. I feel like Call of Duty is even more so than any other shooter that kind of apes the style. Call of Duty has always kind of been about, do you see the person first before they see you? Well, then you'll probably get the kill. You'll probably be able to kill them. Otherwise, they will kill you. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's less about. Not to say it's not skill based. It's just a very specific style that you either like or don't. And Advanced Warfare kind of mixes that up with both the mobility, like the fact that you can kind of dodge and move a little more and actually have a fighting chance if someone happens to see you first. But also like little things, like I mentioned this in the review specifically, but one of the very first things you can get in multiplayer is a shield, which you can pull up, and it's limited use, but you pull it up and it replaces one of your grenades. Which is, if you don't use grenades much, which I never do because I'm terrible with them, I just always kind of throw them and hope that it hits someone, and maybe one every 8 times I get it.
That reminds me of me. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, in the multiplayer anyway. The single player, it's always effective because the dudes don't move that much, to be honest. But multiplayer, haha.
Graham, I don't think I've ever heard you say "boom, haha" in a snack time.
Well, I don't think I've ever played a game where I threw a grenade and got somebody in one shot.
Have you?
Speaking of grenade throwing,
yeah.
Have you? Have either of you seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I have not.
A comedy show. Okay, well,
good.
Graham, what you just did reminds me of the sort of very stoic, stalwart Captain Holt finding out that he had the correct answer for something, and he goes, "Hot
if
damn!"
This keeps up.
No, that's when you did the grenade thing. I'm like, it's kind of like Graham, because Graham's usually a little reserved, quite serious, but then he gets really excited about something. Makes me smile.
Yeah, I guess I'm a bit mercurial. I kind of go from nothing to ridiculously over the top silly.
I can only imagine you in board games because I always like reading you about you and your friends playing. I imagine you're kind of like that as well.
Yeah, I get a little into it.
Especially with grenades.
Just arbitrarily start trash talking, even if I'm just playing with strangers. Like, I
noticed that a little bit with Mario Kart for sure.
Yeah, it's just fun that way.
Like just to wrap up not Modern Warfare, man. No, Advanced Warfare. There's a lot of
Warfare.
Yes, we're past modern. We're advanced now.
See, whenever people say that, it just makes me like, oh no, I lost the town watch.
No. What? What's happening?
What?
I know. I'm
I'll have a funeral for it.
Was it facial hair, dude?
Oh, I think. Oh, all right. There's no cutscene for town watch.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So, what were you saying, Graham?
I was just saying, every time somebody says the name of that game, I just get really excited because like they start saying Advance
Advance
Wars,
War.
and I'm like, yeah, and they say
Call of
fair. It's
Duty
like,
Advance
no.
What if they just made a 3DS Call of Duty game that was just Advance Wars?
Entering combat.
I mean, have you played Ghost Recon Shadow
I was
Wars?
gonna say, what if they did
The
that?
tank should be
That'd
able to.
great.
I mean, they made a Ghost
All
Recon
right,
game.
let's
that
give
was
it a
basically
shot.
Advance Wars. So.
Yeah, all right. So,
know.
Activision, if you're listening, I'm sure
made
you are.
Activision made a Transformers game that's basically Fire Emblem.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Anything could happen.
They also
So,
made a
yeah,
Legend of Korra game that's basically Fire Emblem.
That's right.
Hostile
yeah,
sight.
actually, I'm
Some
curious
weird
about
stuff.
that. Yeah. So yeah, I guess just to wrap up the multiplayer thing real quick. Like pulling up the shield. Basically, whenever someone sees me first, I'm like, well, I'm dead. I mean, I still try to kill them, but it's never going to happen. So pulling up the shield, I was actually able to block their shots, move out of the way, and then get a couple of headshots. And for one of the first times since I'd say Modern Warfare 2, or maybe even the original Modern Warfare, I actually felt like I stood a chance in multiplayer.
That's really cool.
Because I like the multiplayer in Call of Duty, but I just don't play it much anymore because A, everyone is so freaking good at it. And
Yeah.
B, I feel like a lot of my friends who used to play it all the time have moved on, so it kind of also took a lot of the fun out of it. But I found myself
Here we
playing
go.
it a lot more than usual because it's just like there's just enough to it different that kind of changes things up. And I know Call of Duty will never go through a massive overhaul the way it did with the original Modern Warfare, at least until like the series starts like really declining in sales, probably.
Right.
If even then. But like I feel like this is the first one in a while that they changed just enough up to make it like more of a fresh experience. Again, if you don't like Call of Duty, this game isn't going to change your mind. But if you do and you've been kind of like bored of what the series has had to offer in the past 3 years, it's a really nice. Like,
This is a good place to pick it
oh,
back
yeah,
up.
for sure. Like especially for you, Henry. Like I think you'll get a lot out of it.
Yeah, I was weird. I always only played the Call of Duty campaigns because I enjoyed sort of the set pieces and stuff.
That's totally
so
fine.
I haven't played since Modern Warfare 2, so I might check this out.
Don't expect anything amazing with the story. It's very silly. Kevin Spacey is basically
it's more the cutscenes than the sort of the action set pieces.
Oh
that
yeah,
I really like.
it is a big dumb action movie with Kevin Spacey, and it's entertaining, but you don't.
Yeah.
Again, I think people don't realize this, but the original Modern Warfare, despite also being kind of a big dumb action movie, was genuinely a really good story, and they haven't really captured that since then. I think Black Ops 2 came kind of close because that game had branching narrative, which is weird if you think about a Call of Duty game
Entering combat.
branching narrative. But it's anyway. Long story short, it's just cool that they are hopefully moving in an interesting direction, and I'll be very disappointed if the next game doesn't because I feel like because of the series being split between now 3 teams, I wonder if the next game is going to have this stuff, or they're going to be going back to closer to Modern Warfare era, which would be a real disappointment. So we'll see. But yeah,
cool. Very
good
cool.
stuff.
Let's move on. Let's talk. If we have time to talk about every game, but Graham, I'm jealous. You've tried out the Mario Kart DLC already. What do you think?
Yeah, so I've gotten in the smallest amount of time with it. I've played all the tracks.
Chapter 3. Vassal Urban
jealous.
Warfare.
Yeah, it's really
Downloading
good.
it as we speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I have difficulty saying much other than that. But
How just
In
I guess
March-
in short, how are the new the new tracks? So they just as good as the main Mario Kart 8 tracks? They feel
so
like if they're-
Supporting Gallia's policy.
yeah, so a lot of the press has gone to these crossover tracks, right? Like there's a Zelda track, there's a F-Zero track, there's a Excitebike track. Those are really cool. And then there are 3 tracks that are retro remakes. SNES Rainbow Road among them. But
I don't know if it's
hang in
is that
there.
happy
Okay.
noises or
Oh yeah, it's happy. I'm excited.
okay.
But 2 of the tracks are just totally original creations, and I think I like those the most because they are the Mario Kart 80th Mario Kart 8 tracks
Right.
I've ever
Mario
seen.
Kart 80s.
One
Mario
it
Kart-
has the splitting 2 sides of the path that keep winding back into each other, but then that one also has snow banks and jumps everywhere on the sides.
What's that one called?
Oh man, it's the Toad something, I forget.
Toad something. Got it.
Yeah, I don't have the names of the tracks. in
No
front
wonder you like it.
But and then there's another one that's based on like it's a track designed to look like you are in a dragon, which is pretty
What?
cool.
Okay, sure.
And it has a whole bunch of anti-grav stuff and
Are you
interesting
actually
shape tracks.
inside of a dragon, though?
You're in a dragon-shaped building.
Good enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
That's
really cool. Do you find? I know people have been praising it. I haven't seen a lot of reviews for it yet, but Graham, do you find the DLC is a fair price? Because I know DLC is sort of a touchy subject with a lot of people, saying that companies are trying to get milk money out of people, that they should have included it. But I haven't heard that about this. I've heard this is the right kind of DLC. Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, $12. Like if you buy both of them, it's $12. And you are getting 16 tracks.
Now that I think,
Yeah.
It's $12 for like another half of a game. Like it's
first off,
and like you got like some cool characters and stuff
They
in there
offer
too, and like there's so
Change-
much in there that's just really cool. I like the F-Zero tracks because like you just get coins for going around the strips on the side, so you can generally max out until you get hit.
Yeah.
So I mean that stuff's cool. I mean, I just think it's a really. I don't care about Cat Peach. Tanuki Mario, I guess, is all right.
No.
Like it's those choices are a little strange.
Yeah.
But besides the character choices, like I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the star of the show is the tracks. I mean, Mario Kart lends itself to being one of the most highly replayable game, but eventually you're going to hit a wall, even if you play with a lot of people, where it's like, like an extra 4 or an extra 8 tracks would really, really help. Just because eventually you start to memorize everything, you've seen everything
And
the track has to
speaking of
offer.
memorizing, the Excite Bike track is procedurally generated,
I've heard
sweet.
that is really neat. I
so
like
you
that.
can't memorize that.
I mean,
tell me your.
They
Sorry,
could do this if they do DLC even once a year. People will play Mario Kart 8 for the next 10 years if they keep putting out new track. Hell, they played Mario Kart Wii for close to 8.
I mean, if they just continue like, oh look, we got a Star Fox pack and a Metroid pack. That's this year.
Yeah.
Sure.
like,
I'm okay with Nintendo implementing this strategy. I'm okay with this. Yeah.
Pokemon
Same with
pack
Smash
and
Bros. We'll
like,
probably see
Donkey
like
Kong Country
new
pack.
stages come out. Donkey Kong Country pack. Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
yeah, you could just. I mean, this is a pack that's just about Metal Mario for some reason. I don't know. We'll give you,
Yeah, you don't have
8
to- you don't
colors
have
of
to buy
Metal
it.
Mario now. Different
Pink
metals.
Gold Peach now finally has her own course.
Yep.
Get excited.
It's all made of pink gold. It's
Wow.
basically
I'm
inscrutable.
guaranteeing Kyla's going to play Cat Peach because we've been playing 3D Mario World, and like
Yeah.
the top priority is getting the kitty suit.
But yes, that's pretty cool. And we
nothing else
can
matters.
talk about something else. But before we do,
Vice.
you guys have played this. Who needs to be in my squad?
Vice.
Oh man, no! Where's the one that Bender voiced? John DiMaggio? No, not John DiMaggio. Who voices Bender?
John
DiMaggio.
Is it John DiMaggio? Oh, okay, I can't believe I got it right for a second. Whoever did John, it's like she's a large lancer, but she sounds really funny. Who is that? Go find the lancer.
I mean, there's like Yoko and Elise and Hector and Walter and
No.
Nils and
She's.
Jan. Those are the
I don't want to do an impression, but
okay. Well, those
we
are
got to
the
put
female
Vice in
lancers.
for
I don't.
Skies of Arcadia.
Yeah.
It is.
So yeah.
Go back up. Is it Jan? I forget.
I don't know. Anyway,
No, that's not Jan. Oh darn. Okay,
so
I'll look it up. But
my thing is, yeah, Vice always goes
The name's
in,
Vice Engelbart.
and
it is Jan. Jan is voiced by John DiMaggio. You should pick Jan.
I don't have Ica yet. Okay.
Oh man, yeah, I was wondering where she was.
I always throw her in. Okay, so, I gotta use one of these snipers, huh? I don't like either of the early snipers.
How come?
I don't know. They have bad attitudes.
All right.
One of them
we
doesn't like
won't,
Dark Sims, and the other one's just like obnoxious. But I guess
Oh,
obnoxious
no,
is better
Oscar's
than
okay.
huh?
Oscar's
Yeah,
okay.
Oscar's all right.
He was
Hey.
my choice.
Yeah.
Let's. I want to talk about something maybe not as impressive before I move on to a bird story, because I'm dying to hear about a bird story from Andrew. But Andrew, recently you've been tweeting quite a bit about Assassin's Creed Unity, the brand new edition of Assassin's Creed.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm dismayed to hear that it's still full of technical hiccups.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
man.
that bugs the crap out of me. I remember
Bugs.
playing Black Flag. I'm like, this game needed to be. I know you're a big fan of Black Flag, Andrew. I like
name's
Black Flag, but it wasn't quite done to get pulled out of the oven yet. They needed a couple of months of fine tuning, and now it seems like they're rushing these games out, yearly or fewer, or I guess earlier releases, just to get it out the door. And every time I read a recent review, it's like, well, there's tons of technical bugs. Yeah. Not acceptable, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally not acceptable. So here's the thing. Now, the bugs I did run into with Black Flag were funny,
right?
Generally, but not never got in the way of the game.
Right.
Not so much the case. Yeah, Unity makes Black Flag look like the most polished Assassin's Creed ever released.
Oh, are you serious?
It is. Okay, so I've heard the PC version, when played on a really beefy PC, runs mostly okay. But the console version, specifically the PS4 version, which was what I'm playing, that game is not optimized well for that console at all. The frame rate is really bad. It is. I mean, I'm sure you've seen or at least heard about some of the both hilarious and terrifying glitches that game has to offer from reviewers and people just playing it.
Yeah.
Some of them again are hilarious. Like there's one. Well, there's the terrifying screenshots of characters just not having their face anymore, but you still see their eyeballs and their mouths. That's always fun.
Seen that.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I haven't seen that.
Jim Henson's nightmare or something.
Yeah, but the common glitches, which actually has happened to me, there's the getting stuck in a barrel of hay, like the hay prison. Yeah. What's that?
Just sure, yeah.
Oh, I just said Andrew. Oh, sorry.
Nope.
Oh yeah, so yeah, basically yeah. When I ran into a situation where after you do the synchronized thing when you're on the big tower, you jump off into the barrel of hay. I couldn't get out, so I was stuck there. I had to reset. That was fun. I got stuck in a wall a couple of times. I've seen funny glitches. I've seen NPCs just kind of fly away, just just another day. It just does not run well. It's a mess. Ubisoft is well aware. They are working on patches, probably many patches. I'm sure it'll be at least another week or so before that game is at least somewhat up to what we expect from big AAA games. But yeah, definitely a product of yearly releases and kind of a mess technically. It looks very nice. I will say it is a gorgeous game.
From screenshots.
Oh yeah.
When you're not seeing it in motion.
Oh, it's amazing looking, and I love the setting. They lovingly rendered.
Paris?
Yes, Paris. Yes, it is.
During what time?
The French Revolution, basically.
That's very cool.
Right. It begins.
You don't see many games around the French Revolution, but why not?
I mean, it's Assassin's Creed. It's kind of like their thing. They kind of.
I know. Yeah, that's great.
So
that's great.
Yeah, so. It is. I love the setting. I not as much as 4 because again 4 had the sailing and all that, but very very nice and kind of gets back to the old rooftop hopping Assassin's Creed that the Ezio games had.
Yeah.
So if you missed that sort of thing, you'll probably be right at home here.
Yeah, I did. Well, that was one of the things I did miss in Black Flag. Andrew, I've read a little bit about Ubisoft. They have their own CRM now, with Uplay or whatever. Does that exist on the console version as well?
There is. Well, yes, you can still use Uplay on consoles for spending Uplay points, which gets you extra stuff in the game, basically like costumes and cosmetic stuff. And you earn those you earn achievements, and it's kind of been that way for a while. That hasn't changed, but there's also it's some mobile / web Assassin's Creed experience. That allows you to basically earn points there and unlock other things. I don't remember what it's called. There's that too. And of course there are microtransactions. You can spend upwards of $100 to basically get more skills and upgrade your equipment and weapons if you so desire. I think if you do that, you're... Why? But okay. It's normally, typically microtransactions don't really bother me. But I feel like this is really gross in this game. It doesn't make sense, especially since this game is kind of Assassin's Creed to me has always been kind of about slowly not like an RPG, mind you, but kind of slowly building up your character, buying new armor and weapons, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it. For a game like this, it doesn't make any sense. But
I hate
It'll
seeing,
make money.
I hate seeing franchises run this kind of stuff into the ground though. Like obviously I don't want to wait 15 plus years for a third Chrono game or anything like that. But this is the kind of thing where like you saw like Rock Band and then 1, 2, 3 and then like all this stuff and like or Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
And it's just like I can see Assassin's Creed like eventually just being like no one likes this anymore because there's 9 assassins. We may be getting there, and I hope not, because it's such a cool, weird, wacky sci-fi history concept. I don't know if it works in every game, but I certainly like that they're trying. And they always, when I'm playing the games, you can tell they put a lot of effort into the history and writing about the historical buildings and characters. I mean, that's fascinating stuff. It's really interesting. So I hate to see that kind of go to waste.
It's always a love letter to the time period that it's taking place in. And modern day stuff aside, I feel like I think I'm gonna write about this at some point. Maybe not for next New Game Plus, but before the end of the year, I'm gonna write about how I feel like this series being as popular as it is both a gift and a curse.
Okay.
Because it's a gift because what other in what world could you have ever imagined a game with like a historical setting like this ever being as popular as it is and getting yearly iterations, each one with a different setting that's like.
Yeah,
real like a love letter to that like period in time and that place. And
I think the main appeal, I mean, the history for sure, but I think it's the scope.
Yeah, for sure.
Of how grand everything is. I mean, you can just sort of sit there and it's not really like Grand Theft Auto, but you can just sit on top of a building and watch like hundreds of people walk by and in period appropriate clothing and stuff like that. And you don't really get to see that a lot. It's kind of like stepping into a sort of a holodeck or something like that. I mean, in a way, you are with the game's story, right?
For sure, yeah.
So I think that's part of the appeal.
Oh,
And,
no.
I hate to sound too negative. What's wrong, Graham?
We have had a crash.
Uh-oh.
So,
No.
yeah, you guys keep talking. I'm gonna get it back running.
All right, we'll keep talking. Keep talking.
All right,
Let's talk about some other stuff. So that's great about Assassin's Creed. So Andrew, let's while Graham's working on getting that back, tell me about A Bird Story. One of the definite games I'm going to play before the end of the year. This is the sort of the spiritual sequel kind of side story to the Moon.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cool.
This is the new game from Kangao. He created To the Moon. He
by himself.
Yes. Well, mostly by himself. He
Mostly
had
by
some help
himself.
with the music, and he outsourced some of the art stuff, the sprites and whatnot. But yeah, pretty much a one man operation, and this game is no different. It's still made using RPG Maker, and it still looks pretty similar. So that's not going to
impressive.
Yeah, it is. I think it is. I think I'm a sucker for sprites. I always will be. I love pixel art. So that's keep them coming. Keep making games like that. That's fine.
Yep, okay with that.
This game is very similar to the Moon and its structure. Well, not in its structure, but kind of like you've played To the Moon, you know what to expect. It's a very story-driven game. It is. There's very little gameplay to it. This game even more so.
Okay,
if you want
guys,
to call
I guess I'm gonna do that battle again, but better this time.
Oh,
do you have to do the whole battle over again?
I know what I'm doing this time. I knew what I was doing last time. I just didn't do it.
Maybe this time you could save Mustache Man.
Yeah, that's my plan
For sure.
I think
You have to go back all the way back to chapter 1. Weren't you on chapter 3?
No, I was on chapter 1. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where he started when we first started this.
Did you forget to save?
I was gonna save before I went to the next battle, but then I spent 20 minutes micromanaging my team, which is real fun to do. So whatever.
It's still fun.
Got the show a little that off.
Cool.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah. I
does
guess
it
was
have
in
the,
chapter 2, huh?
Does it have sort of the same emotional punch that To the Moon did? To the Moon had a wonderful story.
So I
My
think,
turn, okay?
So Kangao actually released a really cool video just prior to the game's release, kind of talking about expectations that people have for his next game, based on To the Moon, and how people are like, I can't wait for your next game. It's it's probably gonna make me cry and all that. It's like people kind of expect that from him now because the first game was such a surprise and such a pleasant emotional experience. And there definitely is that. This game, for sure, this game made me teary-eyed. Definitely didn't affect me the same way To the Moon did. But it's also it's a much more lighthearted, less serious, more
Ready to go.
kind of carefree kind of story. There are definitely serious moments, but it's not going to hit you the same way To the Moon did. I think. It might, depending on your own childhood. You can probably get a lot out of this if you had a similar childhood to the kid in this game. But it's yeah, again, it's more carefree. It's very very light and kind of fluffy kind of story, if that makes sense. No dialogue at all.
Ready
which
to
I
go.
think is really, I think the fact that he can make a game with no dialogue and tell like I feel like a more coherent, impactful story in an hour.
Yes!
Than I feel like a lot of developers, both AAA and indie, do with like several hours and
Yeah.
full of dialogue
Right.
is incredible. Obviously, this is a different scale than let's say something like an RPG from BioWare or something, but it is still really impressive.
Small is sometimes better. Little and small and more personal is sometimes better. You don't need a game to last 10, 20, 50 hours every time. It's nice to be able to play one that's sort of the length of a movie and you're sort of playing a little interactive movie. I think that's fine.
Yeah, for sure. That's that's what Bird's story is like. I don't want to talk about the story too much because that's basically all that's there, and it's again an hour long. So it's one of those things you just gotta kind of have to if you like To the Moon, you will probably like this for many of the same reasons. Again, I don't think it definitely doesn't reach the same heights, but I don't think he ever intended it to. I don't think he ever he basically is going on his own path, kind of making the kind of stories he wants to tell, and I think that's great. And I think I mean, I'm never going to hold this game in as high regard. A, because it's kind of, I had higher expectations for it going in. Unlike To the Moon, which is again a very nice surprise, something I didn't really expect much from. And also, it's just again a very different experience in terms of story. And I will say, without anything specific, it basically ties in directly to the actual sequel to the Moon, as you will see. During the final moments, it kind of gives you a very nice teaser for his next game.
Nice.
So yeah, that's something to look forward to. And although that game probably won't be up for another 3 or so years, I'm fine. He can take as long as he wants, because if he, this guy is incredible. He makes some really, really, really touching, like, amazing works of art, and I can't recommend it enough. It's only an hour. It's only $5. If you buy it on Steam, you can get it with the soundtrack as well. The soundtrack is as good as To the Moon's. So yeah, this is a great game. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks very much, Andrew. Time for probably a couple more games to talk about.
Get
Graham,
off this road and into the...
did you want to talk about Tales of Hearts? Arr.
I can.
The Pirates Tales game.
Here we go.
Or is it just Tales of Hearts R?
Yeah, it's just Tales of Hearts R.
No,
It's actually, there are fewer pirates in this game than in your average Tales game. So, no.
Funny that.
So this is one of the newer Tales games on the Vita?
Yeah, so this has had a very strange, roundabout development history. It was originally a DS game.
Yes!
And it was an attempt by Namco Bandai at the time, they're Bandai Namco now, to see whether people liked CG or anime, so they made two versions of the game. One with really horrible CG cutscenes, and one with well-done anime cutscenes.
I'll head back to my house.
Oh, well.
I wonder which one people liked more.
So, as it turns out, people like the well-done anime over the really creepy, like, worse than Spirits Within level CG.
Wow.
But that and another DS game, Tales of Innocence, also got remade for the Vita.
Right.
And Hearts is generally considered the better of the two. But so it's kind of it's out of its time, I'll say.
Okay.
That it feels like it feels like the PS2 era sort of Tales games.
Yeah.
And
antiquated?
Yeah. I mean, I still have some way to go before we run a review, but yeah, it all the cool advancements and smart changes that they made in games like Excelia, this game does not have those. This feels like Symphonia era Tales.
I think you just single-handedly told me everything I need to know about this game and why I don't need to play it.
It's one of the things where the game design, back when it was it's better than the DS game because this made some enhancements. It looks nice enough, but I think the thing to keep in mind is that its design was done in a time when replicating the console experience was an accomplishment. And now I'm not sure if that's the case, you know?
Right.
So it's pretty standard of that era kind of Tales game. But how is the story? How's the story characters?
So it's hard to tell, right? Originally, this story might have been decent. The problem is the budget with which this was
All right.
localized. The voice acting's not there, and I always say, like, I'd rather have it without voice acting than not have it. And that's definitely the case. But with a combination of it, like just having Japanese voices and the text being not very like lively, like the translation is done by kind of a lesser localization house. The one thing the Tales games have always had going for them is the localization is done by 8.4. So, you know, whatever the quality of the original writing, the translation is done in a very natural way. That really kind of isn't the case with Tales of Hearts.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. It is.
Because I feel like if, you know...
My turn, okay?
Even if you don't really care for the story, the characters have always kind of
Enemy
been
sighted.
charming, and, you know, there's something like about their interactions, and if that kind of falls flat, then...
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the gameplay's actually solid. Like if you play Tales games for the battle system,
Enemy sighted.
then this is just as good a Tales game as
Enemy
you've ever
sighted.
played.
Okay.
Enemy
If
unit
that makes
spotted.
any sense. Like it has
But you shouldn't
replicated the
rush out
console
this-
experience pretty well.
Right. We shouldn't have to rush out and buy a Vita just for this one. And this isn't sort of one of the better or best Tales games. It's just sort of...
For a second there, I was
there.
going to say better. I thought you might say better or best Vita games, which it may be, right?
Okay.
Like Vita exclusives. Like if you want an interesting Vita exclusive, and you've played Persona 4 Golden as much as you're gonna, like this is an RPG for you. You know, like it is a full scale solid RPG. It's just not better than the console games. So you have to want one, and you have to want to take it around with you.
So here's how I feel about the Tales series, briefly.
Yeah, we have
I've
different
kind of-
opinions on it, but
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we both can agree, especially with the last few. These games really shine in co-op. I think.
yeah. By the way, Tales of Hearts does not have co-op because it's
Yes,
Vita.
as you might expect. That's why I was gonna say, like, I feel like I don't really like the Tales series, but I also haven't played Exilia 2 yet, but Exilia was a very pleasant
Yeah.
surprise.
And Exilia 2
because
is just a lot like Exilia, so if you
Yeah.
like Exilia, you're on board.
for sure,
That's-
I'm looking forward to eventually digging into it when there are less games to play.
Yeah, I would recommend that.
But Exilia was a fun game. I felt like I felt like it was one of the best versions of that battle system, and had what might be my favorite cast in any of them. And also, the co-op was always really fun, regardless of the game.
But that game
really-
specifically was designed for 2-player co-op to be really
Yes.
fun. It's
I was gonna
actually
say,
it's
yeah.
actually if you want to play 4-player co-op, you should actually go back to something like Graces or something.
Mm.
But the two-player co-op is just really well done in that game.
Yeah,
and
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like, I feel like even if Tales of Hearts is like the best Tales game, it will never for me be the best because I can't play it with my girlfriend, or I can't play it with a friend, you know.
Well,
And to
thankfully
me,
for you, it's not the best Tales game.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, even if it was, I probably still wouldn't play it because to me, it's weird to say for like an RPG series, but like the hook of the series to me has been co-op ever since.
Yeah.
I'd
absolutely.
say even ever
I mean,
since the
it's-
PS2. You know.
The combat is fun. Like that's
Yeah.
that's what makes Tales games better than like pick from a menu games. Is like it's
Yeah.
fun to run around in this thing.
Yeah, and,
So,
and again, like I feel like I'm looking forward to whatever the heck the next one is called. Starts with a
Tales
Z.
of Zestiria,
Zestiria.
Mm-hmm.
Zesty.
which is already confirmed for a 2015 PS3 release in North America.
Yes, 2015 PS3 Game of the Year. Announcing
Maybe.
it now.
Maybe not.
well, I don't know. What else is there?
I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
No. I guess you never know with these small
Yeah.
localization teams. You never know what will pop up.
PS3, yeah, like
Yeah.
we could see more stuff.
I mean, yeah. I guess Persona 4 on the PS2 did come
I mean,
out
like-
2 years after the PS3.
Yeah,
So.
like PS3 has had a good year this year. Like 360's dead, but PS3
Yeah.
has had a good year.
Yeah.
Well, PS3 is going to keep rolling, man. We got Persona 5's coming out for it next year, isn't it?
Yeah. Although that's
Yeah.
also coming to
And way-
PS4. but-
Yeah.
But way more people have PS3s than PS4s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'm looking. I am cautiously optimistic about the console Tales games because I was so pleasantly surprised by Exilia and
man, yeah.
I just more stuff like that. Like Tales of Hearts are. I'm sure if you are hardcore into Tales games, this is probably you probably already own it and you're playing it right now.
Yeah.
But like I
It's
don't.
unfortunate
yeah.
because, like, again, since the series has taken such a positive trajectory, it's a shame to see it kind of languish. Like this was gonna be a smaller game no matter what. It's just unfortunate that it's also a lesser game.
But to speak positively on it for a second, like in its defense, I would say there isn't another Tales game on handhelds that you can actually play in English besides those weird,
Tales of the World.
which were not traditional Tales games. So
Yeah.
not so. I mean, hey, if you're looking for Tales on the go, I guess you'd probably say this is okay.
I mean, Tales of the Abyss came out for the 3DS, so
Right. I always forget about. See, but the thing is, Tales of the Abyss isn't very good. So
this game is not as good as Tales of the Abyss.
oh man, that's really bad then.
Well, Tales of the
Man.
Abyss has a better localization, so yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess but.
Sorry, guys.
I
No
could-
one can hear you.
I could go on and on about how much I don't like Tales of the Abyss, but I won't spare it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's maybe we have time
No.
for one more.
Yeah.
Who wants to go? Graham or Andrew?
I don't know what are
we
our
got left?
options.
Or Andrew. So we can either hear about no, you know what? I want to hear from Graham. What the heck is Massive Chalice?
Okay.
That's not a game.
It is.
Google confirms
Andrew-
your story.
Andrew,
Massive
Andrew, did you pick this up?
I have not. I'm
Okay.
probably gonna get the Xbox One version when it comes out.
Okay.
It's probably sometime next
Because
year.
you're the big Double Fine guy, but
I
I'm
do love me
into
some Double Fine.
this, turn-based tactical strategy. It's actually a lot like XCOM. So
Ah.
if you like games like the one you're seeing now, you may be into something like this.
Wait, so this is this actually out or is this just the beta?
This is early access.
Okay, yeah.
So
Kickstarter, wasn't there?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so it was a Kickstarter game, and now it's early access. So
it'll be out officially in like late spring next year.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
got it.
Here we go.
but I'm in an early access, and the game's interesting.
Vulcan
It's
has
trying to be
arrived.
like Rogue Legacy
Sorry.
meets XCOM in a way, I guess.
Better. Okay.
Because you have permadeath, but then like units age, and you play like through lots and lots of
Hostile sighted.
generations.
Oh,
Like
that's
every
cool.
every like 10 or 20
tank!
years, the enemies will
It's a
show up,
galleon tank.
and so that's kind of the idea.
That's I've never heard of anything like that. Actually, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Is it easy to see how old your units are?
Yeah, they have
can you
ages,
see
and
the-
like
they have ages?
things will
Okay.
stop when it's there. It's just a matter of like you have to, breed new units
Right.
by like making people regents of an area and having them rule with other like. It's this like, if you liked the thing in Fire Emblem where you're like, what is the best unit I can make out of these units? That's kind of in place there.
Right.
But the interesting thing to me is seeing whether the double fineness of it will
Here we
hold
go.
up. It tries to be epic and funny at the same time, which is something I haven't really seen in a lot of games. So that part's
Does it
kind of
pull
interesting.
it off okay? So far?
It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it feels epic, but it's funny and engaging. So I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, as long as even if it has just a slight sense of humor, it seems like I feel like I turn to Double Fine games more now for
Yeah.
the kind of diversity of their catalog more than their writing. Not to say the writing is bad or anything.
Here we
Yeah.
Just
go.
I feel like since they're not just making adventure games anymore, or they really never have. But I mean, a lot of those core
I
guys
mean,
for that.
they made an adventure game.
They made a adventure game, yes. But I mean, like because Double Fine isn't like
Yeah.
isn't known for a specific thing anymore. They kind of do
I
a
think
bunch of stuff.
the humor approach works here because like it's a game where it's like FTL-ish in a way where it's like you're gonna make runs in it. You know, let's see how this run goes. You know, so
Good.
You know, telling a serious story over and over again kind of doesn't work.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, sure, just the Chalice speaks in two voices to itself, and that's like the voice acting in the game. So it's just these two personalities just like making quips at each other.
What are the two personalities?
It's like this old guy and this like young adult woman sort
Does
of
the old
thing.
guy say whippersnapper at any point?
No,
Okay.
I mean they're both like actually of equal age, I guess, but you know, it's strange.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, making sure to save, but yeah, so
Please save.
yeah.
So far so good. You
Save.
say.
Yeah. And you know, I feel like we have a little bit of
save
time to hear from Andrew.
Yeah, I think we do. Andrew, let's
Because
round
I
it
do
up
want to
and
wait and talk about
Chapter
Massive
3.
Chalice when it's ready. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Well, it sounds certainly very intriguing. Andrew, take us home. The Halo Master Chief Collection.
Yes. So I haven't played.
This is from a game I think called Halo.
Halo.
Yeah,
Have you
I've
heard of
that
Halo,
one.
kids?
Oh, I've heard of it.
Gather round. Let me tell you about the Halos. Yeah. So I haven't played much of this yet because I've been kind of busy with Assassin's Creed and another game that I will talk about eventually.
It's November.
Yes, it is November. There are a lot of games coming out, and
All right.
the thing. So here's the thing. The
I gotta
thing
build my
want-
squad
doing
again, you
around?
guys.
Oh yeah, don't forget Vice, please.
Squad 7, move in.
Go go go. So the thing I was most excited about this playing with this is the multiplayer, because you could play Halo 1 multiplayer online, and the only time you've ever been able to do that is on the PC version, which I never played.
Right.
So I'm like on board already. I'm $60. Here you go. Halo 1 multiplayer is some of my favorite multiplayer ever. Just like so much fun, and of course, believe it or not, a game with a massive online component launching, and it is.
I guess I'm right now. Okay, we're good.
What happened?
Okay, apparently it's random. Whatever.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Sorry.
no problem. So yeah, that's completely broken. I haven't dived into it. This is only based on what I've heard, but yeah, like matchmaking has not been good at all since launch. They're working very hard on it because it's Halo, and I feel like the reason people are here, even more so than the remastered Halo 2, is that multiplayer. So hopefully they get that sorted really soon.
Yeah, I hope
so
so.
I haven't. So again, I haven't really dived because I mean, I do want to play through all 4 of the games again. There's actually a play, like they have playlists for the single player, which like you can play like very specific missions. Like if you don't want to play any of the Flood missions in Halo 1 through 3, by all means, just you don't have to. But there is a playlist called, I believe, the Master Chief playlist,
Okay.
which basically just takes you
So
through
it's
Halo.
Just the ones with Master Chief in it.
Yeah, so basically it takes you through all of the Halo in like one go. Like there's no like switching games; it just kind of goes from one to the next. And I, that I might do that next year sometime when I have more free time. So, but I did mess around a little bit with Halo 2 because that's kind of the big new thing. Like Halo 1 is still the anniversary edition that came out on 360. Halo 3 and 4, pretty much the same game. They look a little nicer, but Halo 2 is the one that actually had the most work done to it. And you can swap between, like with the Halo 1 anniversary, you can swap between the original version and the new version on the fly, and even during cutscenes. And it is crazy how much work they put into this. Like the cutscenes, for example, are all new. I mean, they're the same cutscenes, but they redid them for the ground up. They look incredible.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me swapping between them because one of them is like loud and it's got so much action going on, and like the music is properly balanced with the voice acting, and then you switch to the original Halo 2 cutscenes and it's just so quiet, even if there's a lot of stuff happening, and the voice acting's kind of low and everything looks kind of grungy. And I just had a lot of fun switching between the two during these big cutscenes because it just was funny to see like just how much has changed in 10 years. And other than that, like it's Still plays like Halo. Like they added a lot of details to the environments, so they're not, they don't look as everything doesn't look as bland. I feel like they put way more effort into this than they did with the first Halo anniversary. So, which kind of bums me out because Halo 2 is the worst Halo. So there's that. But hey, if you like Halo 2, you're in for a treat. They really went all out with this one. And yeah, it just seems like once the multiplayer is working, hopefully soon, it seems like a really, really fantastic deal. And being able to swap between Halo 1 multiplayer to Halo 3 multiplayer, back to Halo 2 and Halo 4, and like having playlists of the different maps from each game and the different game modes from each game, like that all sounds crazy and in the best kind of ways. And if you really like Halo and you know, even if you just want to play one specific set of multiplayer maps and from one game,
Got it.
just being able to do that again, like especially for the first two, which again don't have online or active online anymore. It's just a really, really good package.
Cool.
Again, fingers crossed that we get that multiplayer up and running soon, because I want to dive into that as soon as possible. But yeah, until then, I'll probably just mess around with Halo 2 a little more just to continue to switch between the two, because it's like night and day. It's kind of hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hey, Henry, do you like Halo?
I do. Yeah.
Would you want to play through Halo 1 and 4 again?
Probably not. I think I've had my fill of Halo, but it's nice to hear they've come back with a lot of re-releases and stuff like that.
Never big on the multiplayer?
No, only local. The first one with my friends. Never really online. But yeah, certainly glad to hear it. If somebody was playing Halo at like a party or someone else's house, I would probably join in. But probably won't get a
Okay,
chance for
party at
myself.
my house.
Oh, there's a
Do
party
it.
at your house? I'll be there.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
That means you have to stop playing Valkyria Chronicles, though.
Oh,
man.
never
I'm
mind.
sorry. All right. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Halo. Good stuff. It's still Halo.
Yeah,
It's still
absolutely. Still Halo. Should be the tagline.
Halo. Oh yeah, one thing I do want to mention that this game, as you probably know from E3, is including the Halo 5 Guardians beta, which launches in late December, I believe, and people not very happy about some of the changes they've made to Halo 5 from the previews that came out recently. So we'll see how that plays out when people actually get their hands on it. So we'll see. I'm okay with it personally, because it's a lot. Basically, like, you can aim down the sights with every weapon, sort of thing. You can sprint. You can like things that are very un-Halo like, but fit in with modern shooters. What happened?
It crashed again at the exact same
Well,
spot.
No.
That is a bad sign.
Yeah. But yeah, so at least I saved a couple times. So that's okay.
Well, hey, it's perfect timing.
Yeah. We'll fill it out there. I actually have gotten past that spot, so that's just a weird glitch. But yeah. Yeah. Is what it is.
The game knows it's time to end. The game
It
is like,
does.
Right.
I'm giving up.
All right. But yeah, so we'll call it an episode. But yeah, so
episode.
Next episode, 2 weeks. We have a special episode.
I'm sorry, Graham. It's actually in exactly 12 days.
Yes.
Yeah, Graham.
Yes. We were having a special Tuesday night show because, frankly, we need people to be here and for it not to be a holiday time. So we are going to gather as many of us as we can and play some Super Smash Brothers for Wii U.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Super Smash
Be
Bros.
prepared
Wii
for
U
some
for
serious smack talk.
It's gonna be awesome.
Mostly from Henry, I think.
No, I'll be super nice.
Okay.
No.
We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so for Andrew and Henry, I'm Graham. See you next time.
See ya.